Hello, my name's Tom, and in this video I will solve puzzles 21 through 25 of the game CrossCells. Puzzle number 21. Okay, yes, here we have a new puzzle mechanic, sort of, because we have multiplication tiles. Now, it is a bit confusing in the beginning, and I will honestly admit to looking in the Steam forums about this, where you found a more thorough explanation on how this works, because as you may know that multiplication operations are usually processed first after addition operations. So for instance, if we marked plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, the first thing in a normal mathematical equation would be multiply 3 times 4 and then add 2 and 1, right? But here it's not like this. It's actually like the equation is processed step by step, and in this case from the left to the right, because the direction of processing the equation is always in the direction towards the result, which is here 16. So since the 16, the total value of 16 is on the right side of this row, that means the row is processed from the left to the right. Okay? And that in turn means that we can't use the plus 5 here, because if the plus 5 was the last step in this equation, we would need a total value of 11, which we can't get with plus 1 plus 2 plus 3, that's 6, and then a times 4 right before adding 5, like, because with times 4 you can't reach an 11. Obviously it's an odd number, the 11. So the plus 5 can be removed. Let's do that. And then it's obvious that we need to use the times 4 tile to come up with 16, because these three tiles only add up to 6. So let's mark the times 4, and obviously we need 4 times 4, so that's plus 1 plus 3 equals 4 times 4 equals 16. We have to remove the plus 4 tile. Now here, as you can see, the order of processing the equation is from right to left, because the total value of 13 that we need is on the left side of the board. Now this is an odd number, right? And that means that as a last step of this, we need an odd number, because we have the multiplication tiles here. So whatever we use here in the beginning will be multiplied by 3, which could like get to an odd number. But if we take 5 times 3, that's 15, it's too big already, and 4 times 3 is 12 plus 1. That's actually the solution already. With a 2 it doesn't work. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 1 is 11. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 would only be 9. And if we add 4 and 5, 9, which equals to, or which sums up to 9, and take this, like multiply this by 3 or by 2, we would also end up with too big values. So the solution here is plus 4 times 3 plus 1. That equals 13. Again, 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So let's remove those two. Okay. Now this is a very complex puzzle. I think there may be solutions by sort of trying this and there, and like looking at different solutions. I try to solve this in a more methodological way, by looking at these 4 multiplication tiles here in the center, because if you look at the column clues and the row clues, you can actually deduce that you need exactly 2 multiplication tiles only, and you need exactly one multiplication tile in each of the columns and in each of the rows. Okay, let's start by looking at this clue here. We need a total of 16, a total value of 16. Can we do this without the multiplication tiles? The answer is no, because 2 plus 8 is 10, plus 2 plus 2 is 14. That's not enough, so we definitely need at least one multiplication tile here. Yeah? Is it possible to reach the total value of 16 by using both multiplication tiles? The answer again is yes, or in this case is yes, because if we use the smallest starting tile, the +2, multiply it by 2, that's 4, multiply it by 3, that's 12, and add 2 and another 2, that's exactly 16. So that would be possible. Here we could actually use 2 multiplication tiles, and we have to use at least 1 multiplication tile. Okay, so let's look at this clue now. We have 21. Again, can we reach this value without the multiplication tiles? Again, the answer is no. 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 6 is 11, plus 9 is 20. That's not enough. Can we use both multiplication tiles? In this case, the answer again is no. Like if we start with the smallest starting point, +2, we multiply it by 4, that's 8 already, and we multiply it with 5 again, that would end up with 40, which is far too big, much bigger than 21. Okay, so that means in this column we have to use exactly one of the 2 multiplication tiles. Now, let's do the same thing for the rows here. The 20 total value, again, cannot be reached without using the multiplication tiles, because 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 8 is 15, plus 4 is only 19. Can we use both multiplication tiles? Again, the answer is no. 3, the smallest starting value, times 2 is 6, times 4 is already 24, which surpasses the 20. So, in this column, we need exactly 1 multiplication tile. And let's do the same thing for the last row here, 29. Can we use no multiplication tile? Again, the answer is no, because 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 9 is 16, plus 6 is only 22. Can we use both multiplication tiles? Again, the answer is no, because if we use the smallest starting value, which is the +3, we multiply it by 3, that's 9, multiplied by 5 equals 45 already, which is far too big. So, to sum up here, we also need exactly 1 multiplication tile. So, in turn, like to summarize the whole findings, in this column we need 1 multiplication tile, and in this column we need one multiplication tile. In this row, in these 2 rows we need 1 multiplication tile, sorry, and in this column we also need exactly 1 multiplication tile. In this column we could potentially use 2, but it doesn't work, because if we use the 2 multiplication tiles here, we would have used up the multiplication tile for this row and for this row, which means in this column we couldn't use the multiplication anymore, and we couldn't reach the 21 down here. So that means in this column we also need exactly 1 multiplication tile only. Yeah? Each column and each row here needs exactly 1 multiplication tile, and that's the starting point, which is like admittingly it takes a very long time to get to this starting assumption. But once you are there, it's pretty simple to solve, actually, because if you look at this row here, if you need 1 multiplication tile, you can't use the times 3. If you use the 2 times 3, you end up with 6, and you have another 4 left here, so you end up with 10 only. If you use the 8, you could use the times 2, that's 16, but you can't use the times 3 again. So that's 8 times 3 is 24. That's too big already. If you use 2 plus 8 times 2, that's 20 already. So all of this doesn't work. The only possible way to achieve a total value of 16 with 1 multiplication tile is plus 8 times 2. There's no other possibility here. So let's mark those 2 and remove the remaining tiles. And now, since we know from our original assumption that we can only have 1 multiplication tile in this row, we can already remove this times 4 tile here also, and we have to mark this one because we need 1 multiplication tile in this row and 1 multiplication tile in this column. Okay? So, let's start by looking at, I guess, the other column here. We have 8 times 5. So let's see what's possible. 2 times 5 is 10. We would need another plus 11, which we can't achieve here, so that's not possible. How about plus 3? plus 3 times 5 is 15. And yes, we could use the plus 6 here. That would really fit nicely. If we used 2 plus 3, which equals 5 times 5, we would already end up with 25, which is too big. So the only possible way to achieve this 21 here is by using the plus 3 times 5 plus 6. The remaining tiles can be removed. And then let's look at this row here. We have a times 2. 3 times 2 would be 6. We would need another 14, which we can't get. We only have 12 left. So that's not possible. 4 times 2 would be 8. We would need another 12, and that's exactly possible. And that's actually where I don't like, I'm a bit like, this is a perfect example for where I don't like this game so much over hex cells and square cells, by the way, if you admit me to aggress or to digress. Because now that I see 4 times 2 plus 8 plus 4 is a valid solution, I don't even have to check if plus 3 plus 4 times 2 would also anyway be possible for a valid solution, because assuming that each puzzle only has one valid solution, once I find this one solution, I don't have to check other solutions anymore if they are also possible here. Yeah, that's like in hex cells that wasn't possible, and square cells I also think that wasn't possible. Here it is possible. Like once you find a valid solution, you know that has to be the valid solution, except for one puzzle that is apparently flawed a bit, but we'll get to that later. So yeah, like as I said, if I use the plus 4 times 2 and plus 8 times plus 4, that would equal 20. Usually I would have to check if 3 plus 4 equals 7. Times 2 can also be solved, like that would be 14, like 7 times 2 is 14. So I would need another 6, which I can't achieve here with plus 8 and plus 4. So it has to be plus 4 times 2 plus 8 plus 4, and the plus 3 can be removed. Now for the final row, we have a times 5 tile already. 3 times 5 is 15, plus we would need another 14. That doesn't work. We have 15 here altogether. So 4 times 5, that's 20, plus 9, again, that it can be a solution, and that already means it must be the solution, because we would have to check 3 plus 4, that's 7, times 5, that's 35 already, it's too big. So it has to be 4 times 5 equals 20, plus 9 equals 29, and we can remove the remaining tiles, and the puzzle is complete. Yeah. Okay, this puzzle here, I remember solving this in my first run through by just like seeing like we need 7 tiles, and then see like, I mean, it could be 1 column with 3 tiles and 2 columns with 2 tiles, is that possible? Or it could be 3 and 3 and 1, like this, and I just found the solution like that. Again, if you find one valid solution, it has to be the proper solution. But if you want to address this puzzle in a more logical way, what you can do is actually look at this column here, this column clue. You need a total value of 5. Now, if you were to remove this plus 5 tile here, yeah, this plus 5 tile was removed, that would mean that the total value of 5 could only be achieved by marking all the remaining 4 tiles, because that's 1 times 2 equals 2, times 2 equals 4, plus 1 equals 5. You would need those 4 tiles. Now, since you only have 7 tiles altogether in this field, you could only have 3 more tiles. Yeah? And that would mean you have 2 tiles on one side and 1 tile on the other side, regardless which side, which is not possible, because one of these 2 columns would need a plus 7 tile to get the 7 here or there, right? And that's just doesn't work. Yeah? So the plus 5 has to be the solution in this column here. Yeah? The other way doesn't work. So we can remove 4 tiles already. And that means we need 3 tiles on this side and 3 tiles on this side, or 2 tiles here and 4 tiles here. Now, there is no way to use 4 tiles. Like we could also use 5 tiles, but obviously 5 tiles will be much too big on both sides. Also, the 4 tiles are definitely too big, because you will need 1 multiplication tile piece. You have 2 multiplicator pieces in each of these columns. if you remove just one tile, you will at least need one multiplication tile. But like even the addition parts, like the addition tiles, are already bigger than 7. So you would also have to remove one addition part. Like here, you like the smallest addition you could do if you remove one addition piece would be 2 and 3. That's 5. But then you would have to multiply it by 4 and by 2 already, or 2 times 2 times 4 plus 3. That's all too big. You can't use 4 tiles on either of these sides, so you need to use 3 tiles on each side. 3 tiles is pretty simple. Here, for instance, it's 2 times 2 plus 3. That's, since it is a valid solution, again, it has to be the final solution, sort of. So let's mark it. Yeah. And here, 3 tiles would be 3 times 2 plus 1. Very simple to find. Like, I mean, since it is valid, it has to be the appropriate solution again. You don't have to check, actually, if there's anything else possible, because we are all assuming that there's only one possible solution to each puzzle, right? Okay. So this is a pretty complex puzzle. It's puzzle 25, exactly half time of the game. And like, I practiced this puzzle before, like all these puzzles that I'm doing now, because otherwise they would take too long here. Let's start with some minor deductions in the beginning. Let's see, we have, we have 6 tiles in this rectangular field here, which doesn't really help us. Also, these clues down here don't really help so much. So let's go step by step through the rows first. We have a total value of 4 in this row. That could be 1 times 4 or 2 plus 2. We don't know which one yet. Here we have a total value of 5. We will definitely need the plus 1 in the end, because with even numbers in the beginning, we can only get an even number, and we need the plus 1 for sure. So here, with these 3 tiles, we have to do plus 4. That's either 2 times 2 or plus 2 plus 2. So in both, like in both ways, you have the plus 2 in the beginning, so we can mark this one also. And then let's look at this clue here. We have a total value of 2. That could be 1 times 2. It could be only plus 2, or it could be 1 times 2 here. Nothing really to deduce so far, I guess. No, it's not. Let's see, what do we have here? We have a total value of 6 here. That's 1 plus 2 plus 3, or plus a times 2 here. It can't be the times 2 here, we can see that already. Oh, no, it can be. If we have plus 1 plus 2 times 2, that would be 6. So we can't delete or remove the multiplicator tile here, unfortunately. Let's see. Yes, this column here, there is a deduction possible. We need a total value of 12. Now let's assume like this plus 3 tile was a part of the valid solution. That would mean that with these 4 tiles we would have to reach a total value of 9. But it's not possible. The times 2 cannot reach 9. 9 is an odd number, and with a multiplication by 2 you can't reach an odd number. So times 3, yes, you could reach 9, but then you would need 3 up here, which you can't have. You only have 2 times 2. So it's impossible to reach a total value of 9 with these 4 tiles, and that in turn means that the plus 3 cannot be part of the solution for this here. So that means we have to remove this, and that in turn means, according to this clue, we need a total value of 6, that this piece here has to be marked, because we need plus 3 times 2 here or times 2 here to get 6. So let's mark the plus 3, and let's look at this column. Now again we have plus 2 and plus 3. Now we have a total value of 5, which means we need another plus 1. We have 1 here and 1 there. Both are still possible, so the times 2 at least, this times 2 tile can be removed because it can't be part of the equation anymore. Okay, let's see what else we can deduce. How about the 6 tiles in the rectangle? I don't think that'll help yet. Oh yes, here, I think we can look at this one here again. If we have the +1, can we use the times 3? Yes, 1 times 3 times 2, that's possible. Can we use the +2? Yes, +2 plus 1 is 3. Times 2, one of those two would be 6. That's also possible. What to do next? I don't know. Oh, can we look at this clue again here? 12? Well, we definitely need the +2, obviously, because if we remove the +2, we would have sort of 0 times 2 times 3 times 2. That's 0 in the end. So the +2 has to be part of the solution. We need to mark that. Sorry. And that in turn means that we can't have the times 4, because 2 times 4 is 8 already, and we can only have 4. Let's remove this. And the 1 will also not fit, because 3 plus 2 would be 5 already. We can remove the +1, and here we need the +2. Okay, I overlooked that in the, when I was looking at this column. That's actually the thing where you should start this whole puzzle, I think, this column, because you can deduce quite a lot from that. Now, let's look here first, in this column again, because total value of 6, and we have 3 already, has to be multiplied by 2. Multiplied by 3, that would be 9 already, so we can remove this tile. And here, yes, we need the total value of 6, and we have tiles with the total value of 6 left, so let's mark the +1 also here. And that in turn means here we need total value of 2. We can't use the +2, because 1 plus 2 is 3 already. Let's remove this one. Okay, let's look at this here again. I think we could have done this before also. 2 times 2 is 4. Times 2 is 8. That's that's not big enough for 12. So that means we definitely need the times 3 here, right? 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, yeah. We can mark this one. So we have 2 times 3, that's 6, and we need another times 2. 1 here or 1 here. And now we can finally go to this clue up here, because we have 2 tiles in here. In the end we will have 3 tiles in this column, like this times 2 and this times 2, like one of those 2 times 2 tiles. Whoa, that's really... one of those 2 times 2 tiles will be marked. So 2 tiles here, 3 tiles here, which means we need another tile here or here. Yeah? And since we can only have 1 tile in this entire column according to this clue, this tile can be and has to be removed. So here now we know that this tile, here in this row we need 6, that's 3 times 2, we can mark this one. And 2 times 2 plus 1 equals 3, times 2 equals 6. This tile can also be removed already. And that in turn means we have to mark this one here. 1 times 2 equals 2 for this row clue here. And that completes this column here. We need a total of 12, and we have 2 times 3 equals 6 times 2 equals 12. So we can remove this tile. And that means in turn we need 2 plus 1 to get the total value of 5. We have to mark this +2 tile here. And now we have 1 tile in this column, and we are only allowed to have 1 tile in this column, so we can remove this tile here. Okay. And now the final deduction is actually looking at, can we use the 8 in this equation, the +8? If we did that, these 4 tiles would have to add up to 16. Is this possible? No, because we have a times 3 here. Times 3 can never achieve a times 16. If you add a times 4, you would have a times 12 altogether. And, well, I mean, that's like times 12, you would need another 4. Like 1 times 12 plus 4 plus 8. It's not possible. And in effect, the 8 doesn't work. And if you look at the beginning, like 1 times 2, that's 2, times 3, that's 6, times 4, that's 24. And since this is a valid solution, it has to be the one valid solution to complete the puzzle. And if we remove the plus 8, we will complete the puzzle. And also this section of the puzzle, half time. I hope this video didn't take too long. I didn't check actually when I started. I might have to start like breaking up those videos now. We'll see. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I hope to see you again in my next video, when I will be solving puzzles 26 through 30 of CrossCells. Bye bye.